Hello, how are you this week? Maybe I'm going to turn down the light a little bit while everybody's joining me. It might be a little bright. I think I'm blowing my retinas out here. Hold on one second. Let's see if that's any better. Oh, better. Oh, better. How are you this week? Well, I just want to say that we are having some weather here on the island, so I'm not 100% sure this is going to be a good broadcast. So I'm saying that in ahead of time, but due to the commitment I've made to be here every Wednesday, I wanted to make sure that I came on live, and we're just going to let it roll. We're just going to let it roll as it's meant to, because this is important stuff to talk about. So in case you don't know, my name is Marie Grantham, and I am the founder of Goddess Lifestyle Plan. It is a proprietary system that I developed years ago where it helps women really design what I call a goddess life. And what is a goddess life or goddess lifestyle? Is a lifestyle that really is ideal for you, custom, and your goddess lifestyle is never going to be the same as somebody else's. And the other thing I've also discovered over the years doing the work for myself is that my goddess lifestyle recipe has changed over the years. It's evolved, it's changed, depending on what I was doing. Like I was a mom for years, and then now I'm an empty nester. Well, surely you must imagine my lifestyle has completely changed because of that. So really identifying what you need, what ingredients you need in your goddess lifestyle or your lifestyle to make you feel on purpose and lit up and just happy and inspired, so important. And before I dive into today's training on honoring your truth, really, it's a part 2 to last week's. It's more about how to respond instead of be reactive. And I'm going to tell you all about that, but I wanted to tell you about my new free gift. It's called Design Your Goddess Lifestyle Planner. The link is here on this post, on this video, and I would love for you to download that. It's a free gift from me to you. It's going to help you design your goddess lifestyle recipe. And it's always exciting for me to hear how, and see how different each woman's ideal lifestyle is. And that's really part of it, is really claiming that for yourself. Like, I can have whatever life I want. I can build, I can design, I can enjoy whatever lifestyle I want. Yes, sometimes we're kind of, in a position where we have young children, so things have to wait, but there's definitely ways that you can infuse what you love into your life so that no matter what stage you're in and no matter what your obligations are, you could still feel juicy on purpose and like life is really working with you, because it is. Life is always trying to work for you, not against you. It's us that get in the way. Our stuff, all the stuff that goes on in here. So I love those hearts. I love interaction. I'm shameless about asking for it. I'm a words of affirmation person. So if I'm saying something that's resonating with you, leave me a comment, join the conversation, just throw me some hearts, let me know that what my work serves you and what I'm saying really works for you. So today we're talking about honoring your truth, kind of a part 2 to last week, but it's about responding rather than reacting. And if you don't know me, those of you who know me know that I wear my heart on my sleeve. I tell you all of my warts, because that's really, I think, where the profound teaching moments are in. It's not in all the stuff you see when everything's perfect on social media. It's when I do these belly flops or I have behaviors that really, really self-sabotaged my life. So I'm always talking about the things I used to do and the way I do it now, so that you can see maybe parts of me in you, right? We're all a mirror for each other. And then you can see that, transformation and actually stepping into your most healed and powerful self is totally possible, despite no matter what you're going through. Sometimes life feels pretty dismal. I've been there many times. And I'm here to say that, your next evolution and your next chapter is right around the corner if that's what you choose. And that's the key. So we have to choose us. We have to choose our life. We have to choose our desires. We have to say yes to us, right? And that can be a little bit of a wonky area for women because we're taught to be selfless, right? And we're kind of wired that way too. So honoring your truth, responding rather than reacting. Truth of the matter is I was so reactive my whole life. Now, I could sit here and tell you all these reasons I believe it to be true. One of them was I had an overbearing mother. Not that she was trying to do anything bad by me, but she always was trying to toughen me up, always kind of micromanaging and looking. There was a lot of disapproval. I was way too apparently free-spirited for her. She still doesn't get me and probably like me much, and that's okay, but it hurt for a really long time because your parents are your first safe place in the world, or it should be. So that was a wonky thing for me. So, and I was never safe to be me. I had to be tougher. I had to be more assertive. I had to go out and play with friends more. I had to be everything other than be Lisa. And, Lisa had her faults, and some of it was probably, for my betterment, not to be lazy, not to do this, not to do that. But what it felt like to me and how it resonated with me was I'm not safe to be me. I'm never enough. My grades are never good enough, and it's never enough. There's always something that could be done better, more efficiently, or I should be more assertive and outgoing and whatever. So how that registered to me, I guess, as a child was that I really wasn't safe to speak my truth. I wasn't safe to be me. I had to be a little robot doing exactly what I was told. And, there's two sides to a coin, same coin, and one is compliance. And then the other side of that coin is defiance. So I mean, I was probably compliant at some points, and then I was defiant at some points. And you could imagine that it was kind of frowned upon, the defiance. I get it. I'm a mom. What mom wants defiance? But apparently that's how I was. If I wasn't going to get the attention doing what I thought was being me and being good, then I would get it being bad, quote unquote bad and defiant. So who's to know? So that's one of the things. I was very, very reactive. I never felt like I was being heard. I never felt like I was enough, and that I was being really heard and respected. Later on in life, when I was in relationships, with men, I didn't feel respected. So instead of really being in my power, I got reactive, and I was reactive. And what that looked like was me flipping my shit. That's the only way I could put it, because my nature is really easygoing. Although my children would totally disagree with that. Maybe even my wonderful husband would disagree with that. But I'm pretty easygoing. Unless something really goes against my grain, I'm just like, yeah, we could watch whatever you want. Yeah, we could listen to whatever music you want to watch. Unless like it's not for me. I'm usually easy with food choices, where we're eating, unless I'm really jonesing on something. But back when I was younger, before I really stepped into my truth, my authentic truth, I started honoring my truth and really designing my goddess lifestyle. I would kind of want to never rock the boat. So I would kind of keep things quiet, like things that bothered me. Things that didn't sit right. If it wasn't monumental, I was like, why make a big deal out of it? So I wouldn't say anything because I didn't feel safe to say something because of my past, my childhood. I didn't feel safe to really say it. So I would kind of keep quiet. And then something called stacking happens to everybody. It's like, when something annoys you, but you don't say it. And then it's like stacking and stacking and stacking and stacking and stacking. And then all of a sudden one day, Mount Vesuvius happens. That's what happened to me. And I had to identify this behavior in myself, this behavior where I really didn't want to deal with any backlash. I didn't want to rock the boat, whatever the reasons were that I kept my mouth shut when it was first happening, and I let things stack until I would blow. I didn't have an elegant way or a queenly empowered way to speak my truth and honor my truth. I had to develop that skill. And that's really what I want to say to you. These are all skills you can develop into your tool belt, so to speak. And of course we have our default patterns and our default behaviors, you know, the things that our go-to things that we do and think. And we have to work on retraining ourselves and retraining our brain to do it a different way. The older we get, the more ingrained these default behaviors and patterns and thought processes are. So it gets a little bit more difficult, but not impossible. And we're always rolling back. So I just want to get an amen for that. How many of you have been working on, you know, your personal growth or your spiritual growth, and then the minute that you're not on top of it, like mentally, you roll backwards, right? Totally natural human behavior. That's why things like working with a coach or being in a group, a high vibe group keeps you kind of accountable, keeps you noticing, and your awareness is there. Accountability is really important. Really important. So that was one of the things for me. I would explode because for the many different reasons, I didn't feel safe to speak my truth. I didn't want to rock the boat. So I would stuff down things instead of say them in the moment until they became too much. And then of course, I did not have proper communication skills. So my defense mechanism was to flip the fuck out. Just flip out. And again, it's the compliance and the defiance, two sides to the same coin. So I have found in my clients as well, working with thousands of women throughout the years, that this is a common thing for women. And there's a bunch of reasons. And I want to kind of go through them now. I'm just going to take a sip of my drink. Is it cold everywhere? Because it's so cold in Southwest Florida right now. And you know, I don't watch the news, but Shannon did tell me that the whole country is having like record lows, like crazy cold. But it's cold here today. The sun's not out, which it makes all the difference in the world in Southwest Florida. When the sun is not out, it's much cooler. When that sun comes out, it's almost like an ant under in a magnifying glass. That I feel like the ant under that magnifying glass. So today I've gone outside. I'm like, ooh, I even have a t-shirt on. I'm like, wow, it's a little nippy, totally nippy. So again, let's see here. Some of the ways you can learn to respond instead of react is, and we're reverse engineering now because it's not something that, oh, just do this and it'll all be gone. It's not like that. First, every woman should really know what her desires are, how she wants her life to look, what she wants to call in. She should be aware of what she likes, what she doesn't like, what's a deal maker, what's a deal breaker. Again, shameless plug, my new workbook, Design Your Goddess Lifestyle Planner, has kind of all that in there. What do you need in order to feel juicy, on purpose, on task, inspired? What are you working towards, right? We need that. We need to know we're working towards something because the mundane, the day-to-day is very boring, right? And it can be if we're not looking through those magical lenses of that we are creating our life day-to-day, moment to moment. So it's very important that you're aware of that there's magic even in the most mundane of days, because life is really a ceremony. That's how I look at it. And you know, there's times I'm more present to that than others, in full transparency. Sometimes I'm just like, you know, F this whole thing. You know, I'm a human being. I have these moments. But then because of all the work I've been doing and the work, of course, working with all the women I do, I'm able to switch myself out of it and say, no, there's magic in this. If I just look, there's magic in the struggle. There's magic in the boring. There's magic in the exciting. There's magic in everything. Life is really a never-ending ceremony if that's what you choose it to be. So knowing exactly what you like, what you don't like, what you enjoy doing, what you don't enjoy doing. I was just working with a private client this morning, and you know, a lot of times when a woman gets into an intimate relationship or has children, we lose like our sense of self. We become so in service to our children, to our lover, our husband, our partner, that we stop remembering who we are. That is one of the telltale flags. It's like, you got to know you and you got to honor you, right? So you want to know your desires and your purpose. My workbook, link above, will help you do that. At least get you started on the road. You want to know you. Who are you? Oh my gosh, I didn't even know who I was. I was so busy my entire life looking outside of myself for approval, outside of myself, like, is this the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do? I didn't have 1 ounce of an inkling what worked for Lisa, because I was constantly being told by my mother or by society who I should be. So, and I was too codependent back then. I needed their approval. I needed to break that habit of codependence so that I can really figure out who I was, what felt right to me, what felt right to my soul, what was my next right step, what was my true north, what was my intuition telling me, what did I want? I hope that makes sense. So you want to know you inside and out. It's wonderful to know everybody out there, but knowing you is really, that's when you have your Northern Star. You, your soul, what you need, what you like, what you want, that is your true north, always. Some people call it your intuition, right? Yes, I had to heal the need. I'm just looking at my notes, my Virgo. You need to heal that need to have other people be okay with what you're up to. And I think that's an ongoing process for me. More and more and more, I'm able to do that as I work on myself and work on my life and work on dehabituating myself to patterns, behaviors, thought processes, and putting new ones in that serve the woman I want to be, serve the life I want to have and experience, right? So when we seek approval in others, we self-abandon as women. And I really want you to hear that. When we seek approval in others, we are self-abandoning. And believe it or not, that makes us react. That is a reactive kind of thing. When we don't have our own backs, when we don't have faith in ourselves, we are self-abandoning. When we look for a partner or a man or whatever to save us, when we look for our parents to tell us what to do and to be okay with what we're doing, or our children for that matter, we are self-abandoning. No way around it. And it makes us reactive. All right. So I was always looking outside of myself, never inward. When I went on this journey where I started to come home to me, I stopped self-abandoning. I started looking inside. Of course, it pissed some people off, because that's my next thing. You have to be okay with pissing people off with your decisions. Listen, when you are of service to everybody and everything, and then all of a sudden you start saying no, like, that doesn't make people happy. It just doesn't. And I had a time there where I was like, why can't you be happy? I'm becoming empowered. No, they're not happy, because you're saying no and you're not enabling them or wiping their ass or doing whatever else you were doing, being a doormat. So that's just the truth of it. And I went through it, and you know what? Everybody figured it out, and I figured it out, So there's that. So if you're on that journey, keep going, keep honoring you and what you feel and your truth. Let's see what else. One of the rules I made for myself, and this is really worth hearing, as we head into the busiest time of the year, the holidays, do only what you want to do. Say yes to only what you want to say yes to. Say no what you want to say no to. And here's the best part. Only do things that you bring with a high vibe. So what does that mean? If you're going to show up and really not want to be there, who are you really serving? Not you, for sure, and not the person that invited you. Who wants that low vibe? One of the things I really feel very strongly about, and I'm in integrity about, is I really am mindful of the vibration and the energy I bring to things. I started this practice years ago. Like, I stopped cooking when I wasn't in a good mood, because I truly believe that our hands are magical tools, and our energy goes into the food through our hands. So I was like, you know what? I don't feel like cooking tonight. We're having leftovers. And one of my children, who will remain nameless for this, um, he didn't like leftovers. So that was a big problem for him. He didn't like that. And I was like, well, go grill a steak, make yourself some pasta. I don't know what to tell you, but I had to make him mad. He was like, that's old food. That's what he called leftovers, old food, which is pretty funny today. It actually comes up as a joke sometimes. Did you know leftovers are actually old food? That's what they were called in my house. That's how spoiled I made my children. So when you do say yes, when you do anything, another way to stay in alignment, honoring your truth, is do it without expectation. We are taught that there's some sort of measuring or scoring system in life. Like, I'll do this for you, and then you do that for me. Does anybody really does that? Was like, oh yeah, I know that you either are that way or you know somebody who's that way. I'm going to do that for you, then you do that for me. There's like this scoring. Scoring is a big fat sabotage. Only do things completely with love, with zero expectation. And that's part of honoring your truth. If you're going to do it, do it. Don't be like, okay, and then you'll do that for me. No, because most likely those people are not going to do it for you. And then you're going to be resentful. And then that stacking begins, right? That I talked about in the beginning. You don't want to start in with that. Just take away the scoreboard, do everything with your full heart, zero expectation in return. That's a really great strategy and a practice to be. Let's see. Now, the reactive part, like I mentioned when I first came on live, is because of a bunch of different reasons. The stacking, and we've had enough, but whose fault is that? If something stacks so much and we get reactive, we can't really blame it on the other person or the other people. We really have to take personal responsibility for not speaking our truth in the beginning. And why don't we speak our truth? Well, fear. Fear a lot of times. Fear of the backlash. Fear of the other person's reaction. Fear of them being angry at you or abandoning you, right? There's so many. We were watching a show last night, Shannon and I. I watch TV just at night, a little bit. And we watched this show called Bless This Mess. It's Lake Bell, and I forgot his name. He's blonde. Oh, I could see him. It's Kristen Bell's husband. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But the first episode I watched, I was like, I don't know. But honestly, I crack up in it because first of all, Lake Bell is ridiculous. She's ridiculous. But last night, her mother, Donna, came to visit. And she was being nice when she's usually, she's from New York. And of course, I'm laughing, a New York Jew, and, speaks her mind, doesn't give a shit if she hurts your feelings, what she's saying, whatever, the whole 9 yards. And she shows up, Donna, and she's being all nice and sweet. And then her son-in-law called Dax Shepard. Thank you, Mandy. Thank you, sweetheart. So Dax Shepard says, man, I knew something was up. You were being nice. And she goes, that's mental warfare. I mean, give me a break. What are you, a moron? You didn't see the mental warfare? So this is what I'm saying, ladies. People are trained in life for mental warfare. They're going to mentally or emotionally abandon you. We're afraid of that, especially if we're codependent or sensitive. And I'm like all of the above. So don't abandon me, so you don't want to piss somebody off. They might not talk to you, or they might, leave the room, or they might shut down a conversation. So you want to take a look at those triggers. Because when you know what triggers you, you can work through it. It's when we're living life by default that we tend to mindlessly react instead of respond. I try to always be queenly in my communication. Am I perfect? No, but I'm so much better. And I'm pretty darn close to being perfect because I'm on it. I'm on this practice. I want to live in a way that feels good. Reacting, flipping out, losing my shit, whatever you want to call it, doesn't feel good, doesn't look good. It looks like we're out of control. And it's one of the things I have to tell you I'm the most proud of in my work. My inner circle group, my monthly coaching program, the Goddess Lifestyle Sisterhood, best group of women you'd ever see in your life. Everybody's supportive. Nobody ever has a snarky word. just really beautiful, supportive space. And it's the culture. And I believe that I created that culture because I live that culture. I won't get in the mud because someone's getting in the mud, right? And one of the things that has helped me not get in the mud is you kind of just very, very calmly speak your truth, right? When you say no, it's no, that's not going to work for me. And then there's no explanation after that, right? And I just would love to hear what, if you're watching on the replay or live, how many of you feel the need when you say no to tell everybody why it's no? I used to do that. I know people who do that. Now no is no, that's not going to work for me, or just no. Because when we start giving excuses as to why it's no, we're looking for them to approve of our no. You need to approve of your no. Nobody else. Okay? So catch yourself, just for fun, kind of start seeing if you say no, is there an excuse? This is the reason why I'm saying no. You don't need to ask permission. You're a grown-ass woman. You're a grown-ass woman. MJ, thanks for the authenticity. Exactly. So no is a complete sentence. I don't know what it is, conditioning, cultural, who knows? But we need to stop, ladies, making excuses for why our no is no. Let your no be your no and your yes be your yes. One of my mentors said that, and it hit me like a ton of bricks years ago. And now it's just, no, I'm sorry. And here's another tip for you. I'll probably do a live about it in the next few weeks heading into the holidays. You're going to be being asked for all sorts of shit coming up, these holiday parties, and go here and do this and do that. And, give yourself some grace. So I'm going to give you a golden wisdom nugget that has helped me so much over the years. When somebody asks you, can you do this? Can you come to this? Can you do this? But whatever it is that's encroaching on your time, your knee-jerk reaction or answer should be, you know what? Let me check my calendar and I'll get back to you. Just that. Let me check my calendar and get back to you instead of answering in that moment will spare you so many resentful events over the holidays and probably over the course of your life. Give yourself some grace. Don't answer in the moment. Take some time, write down the date, put it in your phone, whatever you're going to do, and then go home, check your calendar, check in with you. Do I want to do it? Do I want to go? And then if you choose that, yes, you go with a high vibe and go with love in your heart, with no expectation for anything in return. Just give yourself that little bit of time, right? We always feel like we need to answer somebody, give an answer right away. Don't do that. Give yourself some space to really feel into your answer. All right. So allow your yes to be your yes and your no to be your no. And no has a period after it. It's not a comma and a run-on sentence. Step into your power. Do things with love. Do things with intention, and do things that serve you and the lifestyle you want to experience. All right. So I hope that this served you and that you got lots of little wisdom nuggets from it. Joanne says, slowly getting easier, just saying no and not to explain. I know. It's a people-pleasing thing. Whenever we explain ourselves or try to have other people understand why we think the way we think, why we do the things we do, it's because we're seeking approval in others. So my suggestion is to work really, really diligently on working on getting your own approval. Are you a woman that makes you proud? Are you making yourself proud? Doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. Doesn't. You first. It starts with you. It begins with you. And then it ripples out. So if you are always looking outward, the time is to go inward. And then once you've got yourself in alignment and congruent, it'll ripple out naturally. It can't help but to ripple out. It's going to. But it starts with you. It starts in here. It starts here. It starts here, right? All right, my love. So leave me your comments. Definitely download my free workbook. It's free. You'll get emails from me. But don't you like hanging out with me? I know you do. So just download that workbook, work through it. definitely hit reply when you get the email and let me know what awarenesses you came up with. What is your goddess lifestyle recipe? I love to hear that too. And I will see you next week, okay? Wishing you a great week. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Lots of love. Bye.